Moo? Nay. That's it. That's the whole replay. Anyway, yeah, this is actually from Lenorm, right? Yes, let me just check that. We are going to pause because with Beastmen, of course, it is as ever Vanguarded up. Yep, from Lenorm. And it's Beastmen versus Bretonnia. Then on Toothgrass Hill, that means the Beastmen have seized the initiative and the high ground immediately with a mass Vanguard of Zangors. And Vanguard of Zangors is actually very fun to say. Ungor Raiders, Poison Warhounds, we've got some Ungor Spearmen to back them all up, plus Razorgore Herds in the actual deployment, just to give you idea of how far these guys are forward here. Which is Kalkengard, also Bray Shaman Lore of Wild, with the only spell Beastmen ever need, which is Traderkin, at least in land battles. And on the opposite side here, we've got the Fanchantress, Paladin, and Henri up in the air. Knights of the Realm, Peasant Mob, plus Spearmen at Arms with some Peasant Archers, Holy Wardens of the Maisental in the center. Knights of the Realm on the far side, and there are some Grails here somewhere. Yep, somewhere. They're around somewhere. Anyway, let's get things rolling. Beastmen gonna just crash immediately downhill. And because of the Zangors is interesting, as always, for Beastmen. The armor certainly gives pause to, even like Knights of the Realm, you know, lower tier Bretonnia Knights, and certainly Men-at-Arms does make them quite a bit tankier than something like just regular Gore Herds, right? So they're actually not going to immediately crash forward. They're going to somewhat actually take the uphill charge of Bretonnia, but Boots of Kalkengard do come forward with a unit of Zangors. They're just going to absolutely nuke Holy Wardens here. Holy Wardens are a pretty nice unit, but they are going to get absolutely destroyed by multiple attacking Beastmen units here. The Bretonnians do counterattack, though. They're hitting on the flanks. Nice Comet Drop in the back line does a pretty significant amount of damage to some spears. Some Ungor Raiders already being overrun by the terror of Henri and the Knights. But a beautiful Traderkin's going to hit a huge pocket of troops here as the Bretonnians counterattack up the hill. And it's interesting, just to aggressively like take the position and then almost sit defensively. The Beastmen are kind of then letting Bretonnia come to them, which is certainly working out okay. They are attacking out through this gap, though, created by the Holy Wardens routing off Zangors, pushing through and getting on some of those peasants. Poison Warhounds also immediately punch out and do the same, so Beastmen are able to just rout a huge amount of Bretonnian units on the same side, all at the same time. And Bretonnia is pretty much just left with this left push here, coincidentally enough. And so we'll zoom in here with the Fanchantress and the Grail Knights, who are going to be a force to be reckoned with, even as badly as the battle has gone for Bretonnia in other areas of the battlefield. Certainly the Paladins, Fanchantress, Henri, the Grail Knights, all together, it's going to be a lot to deal with, certainly. So let's see how it plays out. Meanwhile, over here, Butchers of Kalkengard, Razorgore Herds, just making sure that these peasants do not come back. Bunch of shattering here from Peasant Bowmen, Holy Wardens, and others. It does look like some Knights of the Realm, though, are able to get out and start to push back some of the Hounds and stuff. Maybe bail out some of these routing units. Maybe. We'll see. Certainly some more Hounds coming out, more Razorgore Herds in the near round. The Enchantress and her retinue just rolling over unit by unit here, but they can only really roll over one unit at a time. Certainly the Enchantress, Henri, and the Paladin all want to stick with the Grail Knights as much as possible. Here, Henri senses opportunity to go after the Bray Shaman, so he's going to do just that. But a beautiful screen here by Lenorm right through those Ungor Raiders allows the Chariot to escape. Bray and Shaman to live another day. Just goat. Yeah, he's the goat. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Making goat sounds. I don't know. It's been a day, guys. Anyway, Grail Knights here getting some healing from the Fanchantress that missed the lady because the way the kind of targeting of it works, the question is it hitting all these units? And it's pretty much hitting two of them, so it's something. Faye doesn't want to take too much damage from these destroyers of Drakwall, but still to get that drain in there, and also the melee defense debuff is quite nice. But Grail Knights, we're going to just kind of keep it close to them. I mean, it's not like nothing else is happening, but it's really the most important thing by far for Bretonnia. These Knights of the Realm have been having some success kind of punching out and running down some of these units, kind of pushing them back and keeping them away, but Yeah, we see here these Bretonnian units kind of being left out to dry there to a degree, and the Grail Knights getting a little bit away from the characters. These guys definitely all need to stick together as much as possible, operate as an effective unit, but here, another blob being forced up, and while Lenormand's micro is elsewhere, we're going to see a brutal drop here. I mean, I say brutal. Value-wise, it's actually not that insane, but it does certainly murder my frame rate. And definitely destroys a lot of those Ungor Spearmen. So that's a good success for Bretonnia. Let's see how these characters can get on. A regrowth going into the Grail Knights there. They went down to try and hit those spears, but the Razorgors are a really nice mass block plus armor piercing, especially for the costs, given how cheap they are compared to Grail Knights. Less than half the cost, right? Like a third of the cost almost of Grail Knights, so you definitely don't want Grail Knights taking too much damage from them, not to mention, again, the mass blocking is great for supporting spears. So this combination is actually very cost efficient and scary for Grail Knights to have to fight, especially in great numbers. And looking at things, it's yeah, it's great numbers of Beastmen. There's this one clutch Knight of the Realm that's been on a journey to try and get back to supporting position, but they are definitely far away even still. Poison Warhounds might be enough to slow them down, although just a very small criticism. I mean, certainly Lenormand's in a very good position overall, but that pursuit angle would have been better to just give a move order straight this direction rather than issue an attack order, because the attacking, like, AI, basically, of when you give an attack order for a unit to follow, it's going to actually follow them rather than taking a good pursuit angle to actually catch them. A little bit odd, but anyway, again, how much is it going to end up mattering? Probably very little, but just the small things. Poison Warhounds do end up catching up with them anyway, just due to their faster speed. They're able to poison them a little bit here, and the Razorgors and Butchers should be able to catch up, but they are close enough now to the Grail Knights that they can get some support. So let's see Grail Knights wheeling around here, smashing into the side of the Beastmen. All sorts of nasty beasts. Bray Shaman's wisely just going to nope on out of that engagement. And let the Butchers of Kalkengard do the heavy lifting. Zangor is also collapsing from the opposite side. And once again, that Traderkin coming in just doing absolutely nasty damage for the cost. Grail Knights are getting close to their healing cap. Enchantress herself has plenty of heal cap space left, but probably has used a lot of her resources keeping the Grail Knights alive at this point. And, I mean, the terror could be an issue for the Beastmen, perhaps, but with their leadership still alive, and certainly with the Butchers of Kalkengard being basically 100% still healthy, it's going to be quite challenging for Bretonnia. Grail Knights are holding out, though, and as we saw, Henri just got a nice regrowth there. He's going to go out in pursuit of the Bray Shaman, try and harass him, maybe do some damage, but the Chariot allows him to have a degree of survivability, even if he does end up taking some damage here. Once again, beautiful screen by the Zangors. Henri gets immediately distracted, has to peel out and go around. Enchantress gets a hit on the Bray Shaman, but honestly, in the words of the legendary Admiral Akbar, it is a trap, because yeah, all these Beastmen are just going to immediately collapse, and not to mention, I mean, the Bray Shaman in combat is not a complete pushover. Enchantress is certainly nothing to sneeze at. She's pretty solid overall, but here, all these characters being all separated out and away from the Grail Knights is definitely a problem. Henri's got the right idea. They all need to stick together and just try and fight in a big blob, as degenerate as it is. It's definitely the right thing to do at this point in time. And here we see, all together, they actually can challenge the Butchers of Kalkengard to a degree, at least until another Traderkin comes in and just ends the whole thing. So there you go, Henri. Unfortunately, foul magics are going to likely get the better of you. Yep, looks like the Grail Knights actually shatter at their healing cap. Knights of the Realm are not going to be enough to win the day here. Despite that, I mean, look at how much damage the Butchers of Kalkengard took there in a very relatively short period of time. Just goes to show, maybe if the Bretonnians had been able to unite a little bit earlier to get a big alpha strike on the Butchers, it might have changed the outcome of the entire battle, to be honest. They eventually do get routed off here, and maybe I eat my words and Bretonnia stages some kind of insane comeback, but I think it's fairly unlikely at this point. Let's go ahead and fast forward and just see how this endgame plays out. Yeah, another Traderkin's going to come in, and that will lead to loss of leadership. So there you go. I'm almost hesitant to even look at the value here for the Bray Shaman. Looks like my game's kind of hanging up a bit right now anyway. But there we go. Yeah, almost 3,000 damage value, 15,000 damage dealt, pretty close on both. It's significant. Traderkin is one of those spells that maybe could be slightly down-tuned. I hesitate to advocate for too many nerfs for Beastmen. They are quite strong right now. You play them effectively, but I think Traderkin is one area that they could just tweak the damage down a little bit. Not too much, even like 10 to 20% less damage would probably bring it a little bit more in line with what it should be. Now it feels like Final Transmutation for just less gold, which is way too strong. But still, the rest of the build does execute fairly effectively. The combination of kind of Zangor's spears plus Razorgore herds in tandem, all three together, is quite effective. You've got the archers for support as well, and honestly, just all together, this is a really well-constructed build. And I would probably just directly steal this, to be honest, but anyway. Build stealing, by the way, is the highest form of respect in the Total War Warhammer community, and never let anyone tell you otherwise. It's absolutely like I said, the ultimate form of respect, because there's no intellectual property kind of belonging of builds. The game's been out long enough at this point that, especially if it's a Warhammer 1 or 2 faction, somebody's probably tried it before. So anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.